very boggy, very marshy. So these little lochs, we call them lochans, L-O-C-H-A-N. Scotland actually has over 30,000 lochs, so freshwater and sea lochs. But strewn all over this landscape, you'll see big boulders. They're called erratic boulders, and they were caught up in the glaciers, picked up many miles from where they were deposited once the ice began to melt. Well, that's the scientific reason they're here. It's not the real reason they're here. The real reason they're here is because of the giants. Underneath these mountains, giants are sleeping, so we need to be quiet because we don't want to wake them up. And the giants in Scotland like doing nothing better than throwing big boulders across the Irish Sea at their cousins, the giants in Ireland. And of course, the Irish giants like to throw big boulders back at the Scottish giants. One Irish giant decided he was going to throw the biggest rock he could find at Scotland. So he scooped it out and left a big hole in the north of Ireland filled with water, and it became Loch Ness, which is the largest lake in Ireland. But the rock was so heavy, when he threw it, it didn't make it all the way across the Irish Sea. It landed in the middle, and that's how an island called the Isle of Man came into being. But it's not just giants. We've got little people here as well. No, not leprechauns. The leprechauns are in Ireland. In Scotland, we have fairies. Now, Scottish fairies are a little bit different from English fairies. They're not tiny little creatures with wings who live at the bottom of your garden. No, 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 no. Scottish fairies are just like everyday people. Maybe a wee bit smaller, always very beautiful, and you have to be nice to them because you never know if you're speaking to a real person or a fairy here in Scotland. Now, I know you've been nice to all the fairies you've met so far because the fairies control the weather. So when the weather turns, I know someone has crossed one of the fairies here in Scotland.